Certainly not, Ayanda. In fact, not the number of police that we thought would see for a hybrid joint sitting of Parliament. I'm going to briefly move out of shot so my colleague can show you how the police are now in a police parade preparing to, of course, go around Parliament. They just moved a street up from Parliament, the Parliamentary precinct. They moved up Rulon Street and now they are basically preparing to go back around Parliament. Now, there are several road closures around Parliament. Those are roads leading to the Parliamentary precinct. But we didn't anticipate, Ayanda, I must tell you, the number of policemen that we're seeing today, this morning. In fact, we know that the Speaker of the National Assembly yesterday, Athi Mtongana, coming out to say that we shouldn't expect a whole contingent of security and that we should just expect the normal parliamentary security. But this morning, a huge number of police officers we see have been deployed in and around Parliament. The road closures now are going to begin. We have already seen several traffic officers in and around the streets leading to Parliament, although pedestrians and members of the public will be allowed to walk in and around the areas and the streets leading to Parliament. Vehicles will not be allowed, Ayanda, to drive along the Parliamentary precinct. But this is the scene, Ayanda, this morning outside of Parliament. And, we know that there won't be any pomp and ceremony this year. That, of course, leading to the fact that Parliament will now spend less compared to the years that we've seen Parliament spend and budget for a State of the Nation address. There are a lot of questions as to why we see so many police for only 50 members of Parliament, some from the National Assembly and those that are expected from the National Council of Provinces. Of course, the rest of the members of Parliament joining in virtually. All of that will be answered later on when we have that conversation with the Speaker of the National Assembly, Athi Mtongana.
Yeah, and Athi, when we sort of look back at the SONA gone by, many people will remember moments before the president spoke and how those were actually filled by charged exchanges with the EFF. Interestingly enough, yesterday, Athi Mtongana mentioning some concerns raised by members of the EFF and essentially suggesting that none of them will actually be in the chamber today. Able to tell us why that's the case?
She actually said there's nothing untoward because each and every political party that's represented in Parliament would then have to submit which representative and how many representatives. Remember, there's also a limit as to how many members of Parliament can be inside the chamber before the president speaks. So she basically said that there's nothing untoward and that each political party sends out a name of a member of Parliament that they feel is a political party should be inside the chamber to represent them. And she was saying that the EFF is not the only party that has decided not to send a member physically to attend the State of the Nation address from inside the chamber. There's many other political parties which have decided to not send out their representatives. Of course, this does not mean that they will not be participating in the State of the Nation address this year. They will be doing so virtually, Ayanda.
Absolutely, and we see some of the sort of rituals being marked right behind you there, Athi. Very quickly then, a long day ahead. When can we expect some of the first MPs to start arriving?
Well, for now, Ayanda, as you can see, police are getting ready. And, basically, this is going to go on for as long as they feel that they're ready to begin their procession around the parliamentary precinct. But I must say, Ayanda, the day before Parliament, yesterday, I must tell you, ordinarily, you'd see a hive of activity around Parliament. You would not only see the men and women in blue, but you'd also see soldiers, those that are involved in other activities that are linked to the State of the Nation address. We're talking about the 21 gun salute, the national ceremonial guard. All of those elements have been eliminated. So now we understand that things are going to be different in as far as what time they decide to, of course, fully close off Parliament, the parliamentary precinct. But the road closures, of course, speak to the high level of security that has been now flanked around Parliament just before, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa takes to the podium at 7 o'clock sharp this evening. Ayanda.
All right, Athi Mtongana, live to us there from an already busy Cape Town. Of course, not as busy as would usually be the case just ahead of a State of the Nation address. Athi and the team have a long day ahead, so no doubt we'll be touching base with them throughout the course of the day.